Hello, this is Creighton Rippey, the director of the Greater Detroit Community Outreach Center here in Detroit, Michigan. Thank you for looking in. Yesterday, or the last time you saw us, we talked about you as being the bottom line as it relates to helping the poor. It starts and ends with you. We talked a little bit about our prevention component that we have introduced to the public, which simply says, if you are servicing as a service agency, that you must collaborate with a prevention program. That means that the service that's servicing the problems of the poor collaborates with prevention, and those are prevention programs that are working to help the poor. But we added another component to that, and that was the donor, and that by preventing as well as services creates support for the donor. So who's are the donors? We said it. You are the first donor. It was the Mother Teresa's, the Father Cunninghams. They started feeding the poor. But what happened was they got support, and their first support wasn't necessarily the government. Their first support came from the foundations. Foundations was who grew out of philanthropic efforts to help the poor. So as a result of that, now we have, for example, in the state of Michigan, over 8,000 charities in the state of Michigan who are set up to help the poor. What has happened? Even though these charities that are set up spends billions of dollars a year, and seemingly things seem to have gotten out of whack. But what happened is that in being set up, they began to give us guidelines. Guidelines, you have to do it this way. You have to do it, for example, in Michigan, the largest, the Kellogg Foundation way. As a result, these guidelines created means of service. In order to get the monies from the Kellogg, the Skillmans, the foundations, you have to have a means of service. Now, if at the time we are servicing the problem, there are also prevention programs who are also trying to compete for those dollars, who says, I don't want to service the problem. I want to prevent the problem. The problem is that the ones who get those monies from those foundations and those philanthropic dollars are the service organizations. And our efforts have been to try to reach you to say, wait a minute. There's a whole arena of areas of programs that have not been given an opportunity to even apply to these foundations. And we feel that you don't understand that part of it. And if we got out here and pushed and made it, you will find that there are so many prevention efforts that have gone by the wayside because they have never been given the opportunity. So therefore, the point that we want to make today is that our foundations have become so enthralled in providing service that they have forgot all about prevention. And in doing so, they created a situation where if you want to get our money, you have to do it the Kellogg way, the Skillman way, the Jewish Foundation way. But you see, the community is not like that. It should be set up so if we put service, prevention, we can do it what the community says. And that's the important thing. Let the community be self-correcting. Let the community say what it needs, provide it. And then as a result, we can look at the donor and says, this is what we've done. We don't have to ask for as much money because we were not only able to service a group of people, we were able to prevent the problem at hand. So lastly, that's what we're talking about today, and that is the foundations and their efforts to help the poor. And unless they have a prevention component, their service only is designed to inadvertently keep the poor poor. So we like to say that if you would like some more information about this and what we're talking about, we created this little 5-page pamphlet. It's very easy reading, and it provides you with the insight as to where we're going with this, what you can do. And we said it. It starts and ends with you. What you can do as an individual to help the poor, to help those who can't help themselves. And it starts with, first of all, your knowledge of the problem, and then secondly, your knowledge of who is providing support or helping to prevent the problem. So again, download the pamphlet. We ask for a donation because our agency, the Greater Detroit Community Outreach Center, exists primarily on your support. So if you download it and don't make a donation, that's okay, because the information is more important. And once you get the information, you'll know what to do. Your conscience will allow you to make the right decision. Again, thank you very much. Tomorrow, the next time you hear us, we'll be talking about our corporations and how they are interplayed and interwoven into this problem itself. Again, my name is Creighton Rippey. You can look us up on the web at www.greaterdetroitoutreach.org. Thank you.